Hi, everybody. Welcome to Season 2 of the Watchung Booksellers Podcast, where we bring you conversations from our bookstore's rich community of book professionals who talk about what they do for the love of books. If you're new to our podcast, thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine. I'm here with my co-producer, Marnie, and we are glad to be back in the saddle. Hey, Marnie.
Hey, Catherine.
How are you? Good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to be back. And listeners, we're actually recording in the store today, so if you hear a little noise, it's just the crew getting ready to open up the store.
Yeah. And recording in the store is just one of the new things we're exploring in 2025. New year, new you. Along with our fantastic writers' workshops, morning writing groups, book clubs, our subscription service, which is called Postmark Pages. There's a lot happening at the little bookshop on the corner. So speaking of new things in 2025, Marnie, are you reading anything new?
I am. I have to read for our New York Times book club that happens the last Monday of every month. But in addition to that, I'm reading A Galley of Flesh by David Saleh. He is a Canadian-born writer who actually was raised in London, and it's contemporary fiction, and it starts with Istvan, who's a teenage boy who lives with his mother in Hungary, and it follows him throughout the years into adulthood. And I just started it, but it's actually very good. How about you?
I just cracked that one, too. I haven't gotten too far, but I just finished Nico Case's memoir, The Harder I Fight, The More I Love You. She's quite frank in the book, which is very fun. But also I really didn't know a lot about her life. Had a hard childhood. And is very down to earth. I like her. And then I'm also starting The Art of Memoir by Mary Karr in preparation for Dion Ford's writing workshop, which we're hosting on March 23rd, which I'm super excited about. And if you want to join me, there's still space in that. And there's also space in Henry Neff's class on world building on February 23rd.
Yeah, so we wrapped last season with some shop talk with the talented women in the kids' room, and we thought it might be a great way to kick off season 2 with another shop talk with our store's owner, Maddie, and former owner, Margot. We had both of them on a few times, but never with each other.
Yeah, so this is kind of a fun change-up for us. And as I mentioned, we've got a lot of new ventures happening this year, the newest and most wonderful being a new bookstore baby. So holding good thoughts for you, Maddie. And with that in mind, we want to reintroduce you to our fabulous bookstore bosses and let them chat about the past, present, and future of Watchung Booksellers.
Maddie Ciliotta-Young is the owner and operator of Watchung Booksellers in Montclair, New Jersey. Maddie grew up in Montclair and at the bookstore with her mom, Margot. After college, she was a teacher and principal for over a decade at a New York City public high school. As a school administrator, Maddie had a focus on equity for underserved schools and a passion for teaching literacy. She joined the Watchung Booksellers team in 2022, and when she's not in the store, she can be found enjoying Montclair's restaurants with her husband or on the soccer field cheering on her kids, and pretty soon taking care of a sweet new baby.
And Margot Sage-EL, born and raised outside of Boston, Massachusetts, earned her BA from Barnard College and arrived in Montclair after the usual Upper West Side, Brooklyn route in 1990. Embraced by a community of spirited souls passionate about art, politics, social justice, and literacy, Margot created Great Owl Books, a mail-order catalog of multicultural children's books, and folded that into Watchung Booksellers in 1996. She spent the last 3 decades growing this community bookstore with the help of amazing booksellers, devoted readers, and a supportive family. Margot and her husband Barry raised their 3 children, Trevor, Madeline, and Olivia, through the Montclair public school system. And now with the bookstore under Maddie's leadership, Margot is semi-retired, big air quotes there. She totes her grandchildren around town, and she is again pursuing sculpture.
Enjoy the conversation, and we'll be back after to fill you in on what's coming up in the store.
Hi, Mama. Hey, Mad. Here we are back again, just examining our relationship and the store.
Publicly.
So it's been just over a year of your official ownership.
Yes, it has.
And
yeah.
So, how did it go from your perspective?
Well, I mean, it's different than what I thought it would be, but it's still the best decision I made.
Wow.
Professionally.
Great.
Listen, I wasn't going to last very long in the city as a principal. That just was not sustainable. But I enjoy most of what I do. Like, I don't love facilities management. Like, I could do without plunging the toilet.
And putting out the trash.
Yeah, like, like, okay, there's things that I don't love about the job. But for the most part, like, I really genuinely enjoy what I do. And I like being local. That feels really important to me. I feel like I was never connected to the town or anything my own kids were doing, or like I felt very separate from where I lived, which was kind of hard, and getting harder and harder as the kids got older. So, I mean, I think it's been going well. How's your retirement been?
Well, I guess, do we announce here that I'm...
Yeah, there is no retirement.
Yeah, there is no retirement. Well, I'm still semi-retired, but I'm back in the store more than I've been because Maddie's going to be on maternity leave through June or whatever.
Until about June. Yeah.
So, and it's kind of funny because I'm very happy about being back.
Yeah,
because it's all the good things that I loved about the bookstore I get to do more often now.
Yeah.
But I don't have to work 7 days a week anymore.
Yep.
All the worry isn't there. I mean, I think of things, but I know it's your problem now, and you come up with solutions. So
I've become quite the plumber. Actually,
besides the plumbing,
no. But I mean, that was kind of the point, right? Was to alleviate that for you had been doing 7 days a week for 30, whatever years. Whenever people were like, "Oh, your mom's retiring," it's like, well, yeah, like everybody kind of needs a break, and it's been a long time.
Yeah,
it's been a whole career.
Yep,
that you've put a lot of time into.
But what I do want to say is that in this past year, like everything has come into fruition that I'd hoped. Like the whole, as you said, COVID changed everybody's lives. Everyone reevaluated, and it was really hard. It was hard to be innovative again after COVID. Yeah, because you didn't know when COVID ended.
Right.
It kind of dragged on.
Yeah, my kids always ask. They're like, "When was COVID again?" I was like, "Well."
All I remember
started in March 2020.
Yeah, that's all I remember, March 2020. But like I just lost the impetus to do innovative, exciting things because we were trying so hard just to get our feet back on the ground. And like, could we have author events again? Could we have story time? Like, could we have more than 5 people in the store? Like all that just like sucked the life out.
Yeah.
And you coming in and then hiring all these fantastic new booksellers, like we're just doing so many incredible things now.
And that's everybody else. That's not. I didn't bring any of these ideas.
No, but you hired the people. You have created an environment where, like, people come up with ideas and run with them.
It's great.
It's just great.
It's really great.
So, I'll go through the list.
Yeah, that's how we're here with the podcast. I mean, this was Catherine and Marnie.
Yep, Catherine Marnie's baby.
And they were like, let's do a podcast. And I was like, okay. I had no idea what that meant. I don't know what that means. I didn't know.
Well, it has become, for me, I see it as such a celebration of our literary community here in town. So it's just amazing. And that Marnie and Catherine come up with these ideas like, oh, let's have a discussion about...
not only to have a podcast, but like all of the content that goes into it. Who's going to do what.
Yep. So that's been really exciting.
Yeah.
And then also to see the maturing of the kids' room.
Yes, yeah.
That, was a little threadbare when we first opened up because we just tried to put, bookshelves and books in there. Yep. And then Aubrey has brought all her art in and all her creativity.
Yep.
And
all their little tchotchkes.
Yeah, everybody's
little tchotchkes.
all the personalities of Aubrey and Evelyn and Caroline and Susie. It's all meshed in there, and that's beautiful to see. And your partnership with the story times is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, that was another family partnership, really. That I kind of bullied my sister-in-law into doing it. I was like, don't you like to sing to little children? Yeah, can you take this off my plate every once in a while? And she set up a whole...
Yeah, and Montclair Speeches is our neighbor in the plaza.
It's so fun.
It's this wealth of like fabulous young talented people who will come in and read to our little ones.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great as a bookseller to watch them work.
Yeah.
Because they use books and literature in a very different way than we do as speech therapists. And so I always enjoy that. But then also as a parent, you pick up all types of tips and tricks, like how to talk to your kids about books, how to read the books, how to sing the songs.
Yep.
So that's been a fantastic partnership.
And then having Aubrey's Sunday afternoon story times has really solidified what we did for years, but in not in a hodgepodge way, but like whenever something was available. But Aubrey has really built it into a steady program, which is great. And then the book clubs, for the kids.
Yeah, that's been really nice.
Yeah, really nice.
That's been really nice.
And then, of course, we're looking forward to the promised writing class, children's writing classes. We're going to make that let's just say that out loud so that it manifests. Yeah, so that you can hold us.
But we have to do it. Yeah, I mean, the writing workshop for the adults was really, it just made me jealous, honestly.
That's interesting.
I was like, I used to teach writing, and that was my favorite thing to teach. Was writing with my teenagers, my high schoolers. So seeing that getting started, and then seeing the lack of writing, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm not here to criticize public schools or curriculum, but there's a serious lack of writing right now, and I'm seeing it with my kids. And we need an opportunity where kids have a place to come and write and get their creative ideas down and create an identity as a writer.
Yep, because we need future storytellers.
Yeah. And unfortunately, over the last decades, schools have become less and less creative spaces. So finding ways for kids to really
requirements,
have a place to do that. I feel like the bookstore is the perfect place.
Yep.
To foster that creativity as a reader and a writer.
Well, because as you said, the adult writers workshop that again Marnie and Catherine our creative team
more ideas
have put together again, like the celebration of all these incredible authors in our midst, and to have them give a gift of a 2.5 hour class
of instruction and their expertise, and you don't have to register at a college or
the other initiative, or the two other initiatives from the store, was our Sunday morning Watchung Writers Group, which is Sunday mornings before the store opens, and people can come and quietly. There's really no interaction.
Actual writing time.
But actual writing time. Yep. And as Alice Elliott Dark said, it's like such a great way to start your Sunday, because you just sit quietly, you get your work done, you get some thoughts aligned, and that's been really exciting. And then Evelyn's postmark pages.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So remember years ago, I talked to you about doing a subscription,
right?
And
I always said you could only do it if somebody took it on.
And I obviously could not take it on. I came in, and that was just like not a project.
Well, you took on the book fairs.
Yes,
which also requires like a dedicated
huge,
person.
Huge undertaking, especially post-COVID, to get that started again.
Right.
But just, once Evelyn was interested in doing that, I was so happy, because I was like, oh my God, this has been in the back of my mind, and the back burner is one of those ideas that
and I think
would be really great to see into fruition, but how the heck are we going to do it? And she just called other bookstores, and they,
and organize the whole thing.
Literally, what kind of mailers do you buy? How do you, what dates do you send it? All the logistics of it. And now we have the new releases, so hardcovers.
Oh, okay.
Because I really wanted new books, because I know there's a lot of readers out there who want something that's just come out. We've got our fiction option, which is backlist, that we've enjoyed, and that one's been nice. I was choosing a lot of those, but a lot of the other booksellers are choosing some of their favorite backlist titles.
Yeah, I actually have more ideas now.
And it's fun to think about who's got a new book coming out, and then maybe choosing one of their backlists. And then we have, for kids stuff, we've got the board book one, which is perfect. I'm going to get that for my baby.
And then
it's mystery and romance, which are so fun. And one of our customers who gets the mystery box has loved it. It's slightly off the beaten path choices. Right. That's Nicole's domain. And so it's not your in your face commercial thriller, but it's these very enjoyable books, and we just deliver it right to your door We have a lot of local subscribers, so we just drive those over, or we mail it.
I know, because I always think of it not as a like book of the month club, but it really is like it's your Watchung Booksellers suggestions. Like the reason why people come to us to begin with, to find those books that they hadn't heard about, that haven't gotten all the publicity, that are
exactly,
but yet are fantastic, and we love them, and we just want to share them with people. So that's been
it's been nice to kind of reach into people's homes that way, and I think it's needed because some people are too busy to come and chat with us and browse, and I get that. That was my life for so many years. Commuting is like, you're not shopping in the middle of the week, but you might want a book on your doorstep on a Wednesday.
Yep.
And you don't want Bezos to be the one delivering it. So, so it's nice that we have that service now, because I think it's been really fun to choose the books for it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's, again, it really solidifies the bookstore as a community center, which is what I always wanted it to be, and you are continuing that.
Like 30 something years ago, where did you imagine the bookstore would be in 30 years? So like,
that's an interesting
when you
question.
first opened on the second floor, and you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to turn this catalog into a brick and mortar.
Yep.
What did you like, did you even have a long-term vision? What did you think the store could be?
I didn't have a long-term vision. Isn't that terrible?
No.
I think I went in 5-year segments.
Yeah.
The old, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And it was really interesting that I always felt the authors in town were really important, even though at that time we had 10. Now we have over 90. Or it must be more than that now. It must be over 100. Anyway, it's it's incredible. But it's like I put Watchung Booksellers existed, and when I bought it in 96 with Trina Rogers, we did put the Your Community Bookstore tagline.
Right.
So I did have, I don't know what I guess I didn't have a solidified vision, but I wanted it.
That's not I wanted it to be
I wanted
PowerPoint
the store
presentation,
but I wanted the store to reflect the community we were in, because it really is an amazing community.
Yeah.
So that I had. But the funny thing is that for about 25 years, I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, when is this going to end? Like, how are we going to sustain it? And really, for the most part, we had a couple dips, but for the most part, we've had growth every year, which is astounding. I mean, we have an amazing community supporting us, but I didn't trust it. Like, for 25 years, I was always ready to shut down. What am I going to do when this is over? And we've kept going. And it was really just the last few years that I felt confident that we would continue. I always said to like our customers who thank us for being there, I'm like, we're here because of you. Yeah. Like, when you don't want us here anymore, like, we'll get the message. But that was about it with vision for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I would necessarily have a 20-year vision either right now.
I know. Do you have a 5-year vision?
I don't think I do. I kind of just wanted to live a very daily life.
For you personally. Okay.
So I think I wanted to like strip a lot of professional ambition from myself. And
that's interesting. And yet you have professional ambition.
Yeah, but it does feel like whatever has happened at the store in the last, 2 or 3 years that I've been there has been really organic, because I'm striving for,
It's not for your resume.
Right, and it's not for career building purposes, or, like everything in the DOE was like, what's the next step? Where are you going? What's your, and like, what are you doing? It was very political, it felt.
Well, obviously, yes, in a DOE. But you did a very conscious move forward, which was opening up the kids' room.
Yeah. So that, I would say just like kid stuff, growing anything that was children related and school related has always been a goal of mine. Right. Just because I feel like that's
right, and that's something
where my passion lies.
Right, and I didn't have those skills, and so I didn't. I couldn't create programs that would go along with it.
We
so
had
that's
great
what's
stuff.
so
like
wonderful.
the store is such a. People come in nostalgic all the time. talking about how they raised their kids in the store, you know, and some people are sad to see the little back room go. You know, so the store did a great job of children's programming, especially with the space
in that
that
tiny little,
you know, like, I mean, I think Carolyn Ombar did a fantastic job, you know, curating an amazing selection for a tiny little space that impacted so many generations of kids that really like grew up on that little carpet.
Yeah, with the dinosaurs, although
and
nobody
those,
remembers those dinosaurs anymore.
I remember them. Yep.
Yeah, that's so funny. And then, like, on the other hand, at 54, I still miss the kids, seeing the kids, like, run straight to the back. Quiet. It's like, oh, books. Yeah. I'm like, oh, my God. But there's something to be said about having a quieter, like, mature space, and the back room with our napping chair.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody always finds a way to sleep there.
But, no, it's just, it gives people a little more breathing room and, like, really kind of an awkward space that we have. You know, it's like a bowling alley. I realize that. But it gives a little more room for adults to browse and look and talk to each other.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little more sophisticated. Yeah. Without the kids.
Yeah, so that's been good.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about us working together.
Oh.
Because, you know, we talked about expectations for, like, the job and the workload, but what did you think working with me would be like? Like,
well,
what
is it
what you imagined?
No, because I say this to everybody. She is much more focused and organized and clean. She loves to dust.
I do. I
God, I know.
People breathe without dusting. Jeez.
But whereas I always find something else to do that would be more fun.
A few more projects to take on in the middle of another project. Yeah.
And then I have the 30 years of relationships with people that you don't realize you're building.
Right.
But
until somebody new comes along and you realize how attached people are to you. Like, you know.
So that was the only thing. It's like, okay, I'm more, you know, touchy-feely, but that's because you don't have the 30 years, you know.
Yeah.
These are people who, you know, we parented together with them. We were on all kinds of committees in the town. We went through whatever the ups and downs the town's been. So, you know, you really build, you know, relationships. So that was kind of what I expected. And you delivered that. What I love seeing, which I guess I should have assumed because you're such a reader, is how you've taken to the buying process.
Oh God, actually that's one of my favorite parts.
I can see that. You love it.
Because you know I'm a shopper too.
Yes.
So I'm just like, put it in the cart, put it in the cart.
So,
but shopping for books is like,
I know,
so delightful. And now that I'm going on maternity leave, I'm going through all the summer catalogs, and I've downloaded so many of the galleys.
Oh yeah, dream on, Maddie. You're not going to be
because I'm like,
I'm
going to be home. But I just get so excited about every book, and then I'm like, oh, this one looks interesting and weird, and then the rep talks about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can get into this.
That's on my list.
Like this is the right kind of weird.
Well,
I love that.
And that was what actually I was excited about in semi-retirement, is that I actually could finally read.
Yeah, exactly. So, like what is it, the cobbler with holes in his shoe? Yep. That's kind of what it's like working at a bookstore.
Yes, it is. Right. I know when people, I shouldn't say this, but when people apply for the job and they say, I just love to read. I'm like, that's not, we're not sitting around just reading books all day. Yeah. We're actually crawling on the floor, like, opening up boxes.
How much do you like carrying 70-pound boxes? Yeah. Because that's what most of your day is. It's just moving books from one place to another and then back to that other place.
And what about you? Your expectations?
I always knew... Listen, I am your daughter. I am very much a reaction to you.
Yes.
To being raised by you.
You're not a chip off the old block.
No.
Yes.
So I always knew we were very different people.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized how much personality comes to play in a professional setting.
Oh.
You know what? Like.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so I learned a lot about myself and my own work process in working with you. Because, you know, I've known you my whole life. You're my mom. But I've known you in a very different context than I'm working.
Right.
Which has, like, very different needs and, you know, like...
Wait, did you say the whole thing about not realizing the personality needed for a job? Because in the Board of Ed and as a principal and everything, you had to guard your personality all the time, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like, you had to be on
Yep.
in a very different way. And it was a system. So I had to do what they said.
Right.
Right. So, like, there was no room for creativity and decision making and starting new projects. Like, none of this. If any of my teachers came to me with this idea, I'd be like, that's great. What does your contract say?
Wow.
Like, like, I have a certain budget and I can, like, so everything was so defined, what everybody's role had to be, what they could do.
And often our role at the store is defined by what customers bring to us, to what they need, too.
Yeah, it's very
which
responsive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's been interesting. I mean, like, I think we are very different personality types, whatever the types are, A, B, C. I don't know what type you are. I'm type A. You are not type A. You're the other type. So that comes...
I'm the creative type.
Yeah.
Give me a little credit for something.
No, there's nothing wrong with any of the types. I'm just saying that never mattered in a workplace before.
Oh, interesting.
Where I was, like, because we had to adhere to, like, such strict systems.
Huh.
And so now it's because you created everything, right? Like, everything at the store was really something that you did. Like, you didn't walk into a system where somebody else had policy and somebody else, defined the roles. Like, you get to decide.
Yeah. And it always evolved over the years.
And
I mean, even systems, like, look at Nicole, how she organized the whole moving over into a new POS system. And then, like, that changed the whole structure of how we worked.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was like, that flipped the day completely.
Yep.
And I think the most shocking thing, or, like, I guess the hardest thing, is the fact that we are so personally and professionally entwined that now it's like finding coverage. Like I'm having this baby. And it's like, well, you have to come over and help me because you're my mom. But also you have to cover for me at the store because there's all these shifts that I'm not going to be there for. And you have to supervise. And so that's a whole new thing, too. It's just like, when something happens.
I know, but we've got such a great crew at the store. And it's like, you know who you can depend on for what and who's going to take care of things. And we've all pitched in for each other at different life's events that we've all had. So, I do feel confident in that.
Yeah, so do I, actually. Yeah, everybody's been really, really great at,
picking up the pieces.
Yeah, stepping up.
That you're,
that you're I'm just walking away from, just abandoning completely.
At least while you're in labor, I can just, text you. It's like, what about payroll?
Yeah, exactly. I'll be, that's the one thing.
Yeah, we haven't
actually
done that.
Let's talk about that.
The other thing that I wanted to say about, I use the word maturing of the bookstore, but since you came and since the kids' room is separate and has their own personality, we've been able to welcome back Diane Francios.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Who was a bookseller, like
she was an original.
Yeah, she was one of the
upstairs.
Yep, upstairs.
Yeah, she and I, and she's been such a faithful customer since.
Yes.
And it just kind of, again, organically came about. And she's like, I'm always willing to help. And I'm like, well, I think I might need some help. And
it's been great.
Come on back. And so that's been really nice.
And she's so good on the floor that gives Emma and Asia time to also concentrate on their new roles. I mean, Asia's taken on the gift buying, and now she's going to help with the book buying.
And more, she wants to do more book buying.
And she's
also
taking on
one of a lot of it when I'm gone. I mean, she's going to fill in for one of the catalogs when I'm gone.
Yeah.
So she's been really, so it's been nice to have everybody kind of step into
new roles,
a role where they're comfortable, and then everybody else can kind of do something new, or maybe something that they didn't think they had capacity for before. And we have some great new staff now. We've got Sarah. Allie is still with us, hanging on. Hanging on one day a week.
I know.
As long as she'll have us. And then we just hired Azul. So she just started, and I think that'll be really great too. She's another Montclair State grad.
Yep, I know.
That we've had a good connection with.
Yep. And for me, it's also exciting because they're all like to concentrate on different
Yes.
parts of the bookstore because, you know, everyone always says, like, how do you read all these books?
Yeah,
I'm
it's like,
absolutely
It's
not.
like, no, absolutely not. No,
But,
Emma
you know.
reads that. Emma reads the fantasy and the YA. I was telling her.
And the
like,
New Age.
I'm like, I
She's
can help
got
you
that
pick
down.
something, but just like, I'm just telling you, I'm just picking what Emma has read, not
right.
what I have read.
And all that romantasy. I know.
Oh
so
my gosh, yeah.
So Allie now that Allie's only one day a week, we have to kind of concentrate a little more on what she recommends with romance because that has become such a growing category in the last year.
It really
right?
is. Yeah, romance has become
Yeah.
way more important, and it's also a very saturated market.
Well, yeah.
So you do have to sift through a lot, which is why it's been nice to have Allie, who just pretty exclusively reads romance.
Yeah, and
she
then tells
knows,
us what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I know, and the whole romantasy, because what did Emma say? What did she say? That's if you, what is it?
Well, it's like romance, but like fairies and dragons.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, do you like dragon sex?
Yeah,
if you do, I think
what
you'll
it
like
is.
this one.
Which is great. So
what it is.
Emma's got her hand on all of those. She knows what's going on.
Yeah, who knows?
there.
5 years from now, that might be its own section, or we might have to put fantasy and romance next to each other because there's going to be so much overlap. I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
Like it's.
Oh, that's so funny. It's so true how things change. I remember a couple of years ago, I kept thinking self-help. Oh, God, let's just reduce it to one shelf. And then
now it's
COVID
booming.
happened. And then
everybody's like trauma.
and the election, and everyone needs self-help. So we've got this like incredible section now. So, yeah, it's great to have everybody's input in the curation of the store and the books that are there. And everybody has different relationships with different customers, and we learn so much from them about what we need and want. And
yeah. I mean, having that kind of team in place makes it possible to have a kid and a real maternity leave, hopefully.
Yep. Well, kind of real.
Yeah.
We'll still bug you.
Yeah, as real as it gets. I mean, like, you're a grandparent now, and you help a lot with not just my household, but, also Trevor's and his kid. And, like, what do you see as being different about being a working parent this day and age? Because I feel like it just feels very different, and I don't know what's different.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing.
Like what?
Phones.
Yeah.
I always say I could never parent in these days.
Because kids have phones.
Because kids have phones. They have their own life on phones. And, and that was all amplified by the event we had at the bookstore the other day.
Yeah.
Union Kong, based on Hate's Anxious Generation.
Yep.
And, at a certain point, parenting isn't hands-on anymore. It's just kind of hovering on the outside.
Yeah.
And we still had, a family phone. So when the phone rang, I knew who was calling who.
Trevor used to pick up whenever I was on the phone, and he would listen.
He was trying to protect you.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so that you had a little more of a vision of what was going on with your kids. It's also private now. I don't know how to. So I think is the hardest. What I think is the best, although who knows how long that's gonna last, is working from home.
Yeah.
When I see all these young families, if at least one or the other
somebody
parent
has access to working from home.
Yeah, even if it's a day or two a week. I mean, oh my God, what a game changer.
Yeah, completely.
That was. Yeah, because Dad used to have to travel. He'd go Sunday night till Friday. I had you 3 kids and the bookstore. I'm like, whoa, this is a little bit of a...
Something's going to drop
here.
One of these balls is going to drop.
Yeah. And so that I think is better, but
yeah, I mean, having any kind of flexibility is huge. That was again another big reason why I had to leave. We couldn't have 2 commuting parents in our households.
No, you can't.
But yeah, it's nice to have flexibility. It's nice to work for yourself. I don't know. I've also never been self-employed, like my own boss.
Yeah. I
like that's kind of nice.
I know I always say, like, I knew I wasn't cut out for the corporate world because I can't do meetings.
Oh my God, yeah.
it's like all day long. Everyone
yeah.
sits in meetings,
All the
takes
time.
their notes, and then when are you actually
Yes.
doing anything?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm like,
I ask people that all the time.
oh,
I
okay.
ask Alex that all the time. I'm like, do you do any work, or do you just talk about the work you have to do?
I know. And I think you're finding this too, that having the bookstore was like encompassing every part of my life. My, sociology studies, working, I mean, I did work kind of corporate, but, just putting graphic design stuff that I did and project management and finances. So, it all pulls together.
Yeah, you have to wear every hat.
Yep.
Yep.
And happily.
Yeah.
Except for the
Except
toilet
for the plumber.
plunge.
Yeah. I'll bring that up one more time. Just one more time for anybody who didn't hear.
So I know you said earlier that you think you are going to have all this leisurely time to read, but what are you looking forward to reading, or what have you just read? Like you read so much, I can't even keep up with you.
I do. So I have been reading because it gets me off my phone and it gets me off of social media, and I have to disassociate in some way.
Yep.
But lately, like, because I'm so tired, I've been reading like for pure entertainment. So I've been reading a lot of like romance.
Yep.
Those, it's like I'll read them in a day.
You can recommend the romance now.
It's I actually feel like I've read quite a bit lately that I can, and I'm trying to again read books that are about to come out, not things that are already out. So I'm trying not to shop from our shelves.
Yes.
Which is hard.
Yep.
Because sometimes I see a book and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I bought that book for the store and I wanted to read it.
Yeah.
However, I would like to get into some more literary fiction once I have some brain space. I gotta say, I feel like James kind of ruined a lot of literature for me.
When you read something that powerful, you have to detox from it. You can't just go to
Yeah, and so I mean, I am excited. I'm reading Chimamanda Adichie's new book, Dream Count.
Oh.
And so I'm about halfway through that.
When is that coming out?
I want to say that's month? March.
Okay.
I think that's a March title. And she's one of my favorite authors of all time.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited. And then I went back. This past summer, I went back and I read James Baldwin. And I think I would like to do some more of that. So like reading some like more classic texts that were really important to me when I was younger, maybe. Or maybe some that I missed. Like I never read If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, and you'll read it with a different perspective.
Yeah, so I would like to treat my leave a little bit like a sabbatical. Where I can
like that.
Read and then I'll just bother you guys to write little tags, or I'll come in with the baby and write all my recommendations on everything that I've read.
That is great.
And then there's like the Amanda Peters one that I'm looking at right now. I want to read that, but you should probably read that. I think you would like that because she did the Berry Pickers.
Oh, yeah, I love the Berry Pickers.
Yeah. So I have her new one.
Well, I'm reading Marcy Dermansky's new book, Hot Air. So I'm
also
almost
March,
finished
right?
it. Yep. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah,
such a great
it
cover.
is.
Such a great cover.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great cover.
The package is perfect.
And it's I think it's her voice is very particular, and it all comes through in this book, like all about second guessing oneself and situations. It's a spicy book. It's a pretty spicy book for Marcy, I think. So that's been fun.
That's exciting.
And then also, which I realized just came out, which I read months ago in Galley, was The Oligarch's Daughter by Joseph Finder. Like I just
I don't remember that one.
No, because I just wanted to read, like a mystery thriller.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Ooh.
And it's just come out now, so I have to
good.
put that out front and center. And then I just downloaded from our Libro FM partnership account True Grit, because the Great Writers Workshop is reading it.
They chose it.
Yeah, and it's a very different kind of book for me. And I remember years ago, several customers came in, when they come in and give you you must read this book edict. So I'm doing that. But then
I'm looking at I'm like, what did I do on Libro FM? I like to listen to a book on Libro FM. And because that's when I can do housework, or if the kids are watching TV, I can sit next to them. And I like to read one at the same time. Oh, Alice Feeney, Beautiful Ugly.
Oh.
Another thriller. Yeah, like I can just do romance and thriller right now. That's all my brain can handle.
Which is great.
So somebody disappears and
Yeah.
shows up later, years
Yes,
later.
that's
know?
what you
It's
need.
like, yeah.
But then we got very excited this week because we have another partnership with bookshop.org,
Yep.
which we've been working with for
years. I mean, so
for years.
typically they've been supporting independent bookstores for a while, and typically what they do is they ship books to people.
Yep.
So if a store doesn't have a strong website or doesn't have strong, I don't know, shipping logistics, honestly, people who live far away from that store can very easily order through bookshop.org, have the books delivered directly to their door, and then a portion of those sales go right to the independent bookstore of your choosing. So you
Right.
could be in Seattle, be like, oh, I miss Watchung Booksellers. I grew up at that bookstore,
Yeah.
and order from us through bookshop.org. Yeah. So they've been really fantastic for a lot of stores in that respect, and us as well. But they've been teasing us with this ebook option. So we hear people all the time come into the store and say, oh, I love this, but I downloaded it, or, I travel or I commute and I can't carry all these books with me.
Can't I download books from you?
Or, right, like I hate going on my Kindle. But, it's a reality of people's lives that they read ebooks. And even now, publishers don't always give us hard copies of books ahead of time. We have to download them.
Right.
And so bookshop.org just came out with an ebook option. So you can download ebooks. I believe there's an app. You can just do it right from your phone.
Yeah, it's
support an independent bookstore. It's like I could not emphasize how timely this is, because this man is about to destroy our earth and like everything that we know to mean freedom. So giving him every cent that, like, I think it's just like we really have to divest from things that are not serving us as human beings. And so for people who are looking to divest from Amazon, you can ditch your Kindle. If you're looking to divest from big box stores and you don't want to get on a highway and get in your car to get it, like, you can still support your local independent store from home.
Yep.
And you can download audiobooks from Libro FM. I found a lot of our elderly customers are really enjoying it.
Yep. Yeah.
And come into the store, come with your computer or your phone. I always offer to them, I'm like, I'm happy to hook it up for you, because they're like, my grandson's in Seattle and he can't. I'm like, I will download it for you and show you. So having this ebook option is going to be fantastic for all of those people who enjoy their digital books, for all the reasons that we do, but you don't have to do it with...
Yeah, it gives people options that they've wanted, because they did want to support us. So
because where you spend your money matters. I mean, people work very hard for their money, and it's kind of sad to see it just like...
go to three individuals.
Somebody's spaceship. Like literally his big boy toys are funded. Yeah. It's just sad. That's just like not where I want my money going. So anybody else who is also thinking along those lines but has a busy life and needs an ebook, you can now support us or any other independent store. It doesn't even have to be us, which is the wonderful part about it.
Yeah. So
your favorite indie, any indie.
Well, what I'm also excited to find out. I know you're going to be busy the next few months, but I think it'll be really interesting. As you said, a sabbatical. You remove yourself physically for the most part.
Yep.
And what's going to come out of that? Like what ideas or what focus or what vision? I'm really looking forward to seeing what you're going to bring back to the store afterwards. Besides a little crying baby.
Yeah, besides the baby. And more childcare costs. Yeah. Speaking of what we were reading, I just read Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Message, and he has a chapter about learning and language, and that was also something that really sparked for me that we really have to be a part of teaching kids how to write and become writers.
Yeah.
Because it was just, he struggled in school. And it was just fascinating to hear him talk about finding his voice as a writer, and how important it was. And I was like, ugh, and everything he said about prayer and pedagogy of the oppressed and all of it just brought back the educator in me.
Great.
So I don't know if she'll come out a little bit more this fall.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it, and then I'll be looking forward to stepping back yet again.
Yep.
Because I was
You did a very good
was enjoying
job of
my
stepping back. I'm really proud of you because you know what? Honestly, you're not the type of person who anybody would think would retire.
Oh.
I think because
Yeah.
you're go, and you do enjoy
Well, it
what
was
you
a little
do.
scary.
What,
The
like,
days
to
when I
think
had
about
nothing
it?
to do, I'm like, whoa, this is not good.
But now you have sculpture class.
Yep.
You take the grandkids, almost 3 times a week?
Yeah.
You've got what did Lois called them, your little Girl Scout troop?
Oh, is it?
Walking, she sees you walking around
Oh,
Anderson
yeah.
Park with all the grandkids.
Well, the little pod of girls are going to be
yeah, it's going to be blown up a little bit.
blown up with a guy, but we'll figure it out. But there's a lot to do.
Hopefully you keep a little balance.
Yes, and I still get to do the fun stuff at the bookstore.
Exactly, and do what you like.
See all my friends.
Yeah. So come by, say hi to Margot before I put her back in the closet. Before I shove her away again in June.
Not going to shove it away. That's right. And I'm still looking forward to doing all the author events at night, which is like my
Again,
love.
all your relationships.
And then we've got we've got such a thriving program with the Montclair Library Open Book, Open Mind. That's been very exciting, at least once a month, if not twice. And then the Montclair Literary Festival is coming up in end of April and May. Succeed Together. So
we're a big spring.
Yep. So that'll be. I always love to organize that.
Yeah.
See,
I'll help you with the spreadsheets. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. I don't. The old analog me.
I'll turn your list. Give me your notebook and I'll turn your list into spreadsheets.
What about the biggest thing that you did?
Was
you
digitizing? What did I not digitize?
I had
the
30
email?
years of sales data.
So when I
handwritten.
I decided I was going to take over the store.
When you want to have information on how to buy the store, I gave you this 3-ring binder.
It was my old notebook from 3rd grade.
Yeah, because it was still in good shape.
Yep. Because God forbid you can't throw it out. There's still some paper there. And so I'm like, I gotta go. Me and my husband have to talk about this, and can we financially do this, and yada yada. And it's a little red notebook that is 30 years old. And she turned it sideways and wrote month by month the sales data for the bookstore on each page.
I had a handle on it.
And she said, "Here's my spreadsheets." And so things had to be digitized a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
The archives needed to be updated.
Okay.
So I'm happy to help with that still.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Well, anyway, yes. So it is good to think about the future of the bookstore and what's going to happen. We're all looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Margot and Maddie, for joining the podcast today and for all the work you do to keep Watchung Booksellers and the Kids Room going. Listeners, you can find a link to all the books they've talked about in our show notes and at watchungbooksellers.com.
We've got 3 events this week that you won't want to miss. Tonight at 7 o'clock at Loopwell, acclaimed psychologist Ethan Cross will talk with best-selling author Susan Cain about his latest book, Shift, Managing Your Emotions so They Don't Manage You.
And tomorrow, Wednesday, February 5th, the Latinos of Montclair welcome Paola Ramos to talk with journalist Cindy Rodriguez about her book, Defectors, The Rise of the Latino Far Right and What It Means for America. That will be held at 6:30 in the United Way building. And then Thursday, in-store, don't miss Dr. Sunita Saw in conversation with her One World editor, Elizabeth Mendez-Berry, to discuss Defy, the Power of No in a World That Demands Yes.
You can find out details for all these events in our newsletter, show notes, or at watchungbooksellers.com. The Watchung Booksellers Podcast is produced by Catherine Council and Marnie Jessup, and is recorded at Watchung Booksellers in Montclair, New Jersey. The show is edited by Catherine Council, and original music is composed and performed by Violet Muica. Art and design and social media by Evelyn Moulton. Research and show notes by Caroline Shirtleff. Thank you to the staff at Watchung Booksellers and the Kids Room for all their hard work and love of books.
And thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show, please like, follow, and share it. You can follow us on social media at Watchung Booksellers. And if you have any questions or ideas, you can reach us at wbpodcast@watchungbooksellers.com.
We'll see you next time. Until then, for the love of books, keep reading.